Hello, how's everybody doing out there? Welcome to Buzzing with Cousin. We got a great show today, a great guest. I can't wait for you to see her. And before further ado, let me introduce her. She's the owner of Sugar Science, creator of handmade desserts for every occasion. They're actually a beautiful work of art. So please welcome Sharon Runde. Sharon, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
And so, Sharon, I've known you for a while, but the people that don't know you, where you from and how'd you get to Monterey?
I'm a native Californian. My mother was born in San Francisco. My father was born in LA. So I was born in Mountain View and been living in the Bay Area my whole life. I lived in Sacramento for a while. And I came down to Monterey in 2001 and worked at the Naval Postgraduate School for 23 years as a research scientist.
Wow,
And
great.
then Yeah. And then when Samuel, my son, turned 18, I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. So I gave up the PhD program and I was mid proposal, writing my proposal, finished all my qualifying exams and all of that, and decided I don't want to do this anymore. I
So
want to do what I love.
you're a scientist for the Navy postgraduate show, and now you're another scientist, sugar science. So
Yep. Yep.
congratulations for that.
Thank you.
So now, have you always been into baking, or when you were a child, or were you licking the spoon, or how did that happen?
Yeah. So there's a funny story. My mom was a baker, and yes, we all licked the beaters, and my brother and I would fight over them. My grandmother, her mother was a baker, and her mother was a baker, and they all had their specialties. So my great grandmother, her thing was pies. She did a lot of pies. My grandmother made a lot of cookies. My mother did cakes and wedding cakes, breads, quick breads, yeast breads, and then later got into like wedding cakes and stuff. But the first thing I learned how to make was pie dough because I was in the kitchen. My family were visiting my great grandparents right here in San Juan Bautista. They lived on the frontage road of Highway 129, which is
Perfect.
also where my family's buried there in the cemetery. And I was pretty much under my great grandmother's apron all throughout the day and getting on her nerves. And so she sat me down at the kitchen table with two butter knives and some butter and lard and a bowl of flour and said, "Here, cut this fat into the flour until it's small peas." So I'm 5 years old
Yeah.
and I'm thinking about the garden in the backyard. And I thought, well, she's got regular peas growing and she's got petite peas growing.
Yeah.
I wonder what size peas she wants. So
Oh,
I asked
yeah.
her,
Okay. That's your science. Your science mentality is coming out.
right?
Trying to
From a
analyze.
very young age. I wanted to be very exact. I wanted to know. And she just was more frustrated, just said, "Get it done." Okay. Okay. So the first thing I learned how to make was pie dough. And then from once the pie dough is made, I learned how to roll it out. And then we made pecan pie for Thanksgiving. And that was the first pie that I learned how to make 45 years ago.
At 5 years old.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really great. Um,
So there
so
began my passion for baking.
so you're here at the Naval Post grad, and you left, and then what did you? How did you create Sugar Science? Did you just think of, wait a minute, I love baking, and people like what I bake. Maybe I should go into business. Is that kind of how it happened, or?
Well, I had been baking for a long time for customers for about 10 years and
Okay,
just sort of doing it as a hobby. And uh, then I was sort of reading the tea leaves at NPS and saw that that career was could potentially come to an end. And I decided that I didn't really want to do that anymore anyway. So I started doing more and more with the baking. And then one day I thought, I have quite a few expenses. Maybe
Yeah,
I should get a business license so that I can separate my taxes, for all the baking stuff. And then
yeah,
once I got the business license and the fictitious business name of Sugar Science, all of a sudden it just blew up. It just blew up. Was getting so many referrals and so many phone
yeah,
calls that it just sort of happened. It wasn't anything I really premeditated.
yeah.
It just sort of happened that way. So I'm
It's
really happy about it.
been about what, 3 years, or how many years?
I've been in business now, officially in business for 3 years. It'll be 4 years in January.
Wow, that's really great. I remember when you first started. It
Yeah.
just it flew by, and and listeners out there, I'm a testimonial because for the holiday I had one of Sharon's beautiful pies, and it was a big hit at our, I think it was
I
Thanksgiving
remember that.
Thanksgiving dinner. So thank you so much for that. And
I'm also taking pre-orders for Thanksgiving right now. It's not too
okay, we're
early.
gonna we're gonna get all that information before you go, so people can make their orders for the holidays. Now, let me just say to the people out there that you're getting something handmade just for you, for your family, and it's a work of art. And not only is it great, delicious, but it's the presentation. You don't feel like eating it. It's like, let's just put it on the shelf. You know what I mean? So
I've heard that.
that's really great. And now, are you in a couple of different stores, or are you everything's
I
on?
was I was doing farmers markets for about 2 years, and I was doing 4 a week, which was very exhausting. Um, and so finally in December, I stopped doing the farmers markets because I was getting enough orders, thankfully, just through my website and being involved in the community that business is growing now. So I decided to let go of the farmers markets because what I really wanted to do, instead of just doing a few sample items basically on a weekly basis, what I really wanted to pursue was the custom cakes. So I
Right.
had to make a decision on which way to go. So I gave up the farmers markets. I was also serving Nielsen's for a while, and
Great place.
decided that grocery stores is a whole nother beast. That's a completely different business direction. So I've stopped doing those things so that I can now just really focus all of my attention and energy on serving the customers directly.
Yeah. Now, what I was saying was that getting back to the way you create it is that if there's special occasions, graduations, anniversaries, birthdays, different type of stuff. Let's say you've got a pickleballer. Sharon will make a cake. I think I've seen you do one time. Was it tennis, or was it?
I've done a baseball, a basketball, a golf ball. Yeah. We could
Yeah.
do
So,
pickle we could do pickleball. That would be
well,
fun.
she can make
Do a
a
racket, a
you can,
court, and
yeah, the paddle and the yellow ball with the little holes in it. I know that's a no brainer for you. So Sharon, also, I want to thank you for you give back to the community, and what are the couple things that you do in the community?
yeah, so I've been a longtime member of the American Legion, and my home post is Post 512 in Carmel by the Sea. So I do a lot with them. We do a lot of music events because one of my other passions um, is supporting our local musicians and local live music. That's something that's really important to me. So for the last, I think 2 years. I've been hosting live music there, and part of that is, the commander, Jerry Parator, he allows me to follow my passions and gives me the venue to do that. So I love supporting the American Legion and the mission that they stand for. I love supporting our live music community and sharing baked goods. So I get to do all three things in the same place. So that's a lot of fun. We have a Halloween party coming up Friday, October 31st. We're doing
Yeah.
our Halloween, and we've got a new band playing that everybody, I know they're going to be great. It's Tom Ayers is in
Oh yeah,
there.
one of the
Yeah,
top guitar players in Monterey. Yeah.
yeah. And Michael Chatfield. Um, so they're getting together and forming a new band, and so I'm really excited about that for Halloween. It's open to the public, so everybody come in costume. Johnny, you came. Well,
Yeah.
you were Nurse Ratchet last
I
year.
won.
Was that last year?
I won a prize.
Yeah, you did. I remember.
I won a
Yeah.
prize. Yeah, that was a fun time. Now that Post 41, I mean, that's a nice little venue if somebody wanted to do something. So
Yeah,
we're
Post 41 is in Monterey.
yeah. Oh
512
yeah,
is in
512. Yeah.
Carmel by the Sea. Yeah. And then there's posts in Prunedale, there's posts in Salinas. Seaside Post just reopened after being remodeled. So the
Okay. Yeah.
Seaside one is now open. Yeah. And then the other organization that I've just aligned myself with and become a member is the La Dame de Escoffier, which is a nonprofit organization that supports women in food, wine, and culinary. And we do various fundraisers, and
Right.
we offer scholarships to men and women, anyone who wants to be in hospitality and food. So
That's
those,
great.
so that's a really nice organization. I was actually just volunteering at Me Earth last weekend or the weekend before for the glass pumpkin patch. So I was slicing 10 pounds of onions and helping with
Perfect.
the pizza. And yeah,
Now that organization that you're talking about, that's a great thing for the scholarships because right here in Monterey, we're like one of the biggest hospitality industries around. We're uh
yeah,
we're number two in the county. Number one is produce. Number two is hospitality. So that's a
yeah,
great thing. So Sharon, we've been talking about your desserts and your baking, and I think people out there are curious. So I got four of my favorites here that I took out of your site, and I want to show the people. Maybe you could explain it to them.
yeah.
So here we go. Number one.
That was a fun one. That is a 6-inch, I believe it was vanilla bean cake. Once it's covered up, I have trouble remembering which flavor it is. So this one was fun. The mother ordered this cake for her daughter turning 24. They were from out of town, and the daughter and her best friend were coming to Monterey to celebrate her birthday, and they wanted something nostalgic and a throwback to a cartoon that they watched as kids. So
Beautiful.
that was the inspiration of this. And so I worked with the mom. She sent me, and this is what I really enjoyed doing, is the connection with the families and
Yeah.
finding out, they'll tell me a little something about the guest of honor and what do they like. And so really customizing it to make that person feel honored and special.
Not only
So
you're a great baker, but you're also an artist
yeah,
because
so this is hand painted.
you're a recreate. They're telling you kind of their style, and
Yeah.
you're putting it in your mind and you're creating it. So that's really great.
Yeah, I
Oh,
draw it out on a piece of paper and I look at all the inspiration photos. I do
yeah.
Google
So
searches. I do a lot of research to
a lot
make
of
that.
research. Okay, number two.
So this was for a friend turning 76. It was a Black Forest cake with I think can't remember if I did rum or brandy in this one. Um, And this was actually for the KMBY, uh,
Looks like
Chris White. Chris White.
oh,
So
beautiful.
this was for his birthday. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, number 3. That's
This
not
one
a
I loved. Yeah, I loved doing this one. This was a family from New York. They were coming to celebrate husband and wife with their 3 kids, celebrating their 16th anniversary, wedding anniversary. And the husband wanted to do something fun, but he couldn't decide because he and the kids wanted vanilla cake, but the wife's favorite cake was angel food cake.
yeah.
And so we went back and forth. I said, why don't we just do 2 tiers? So
Oh,
that's angel food cake on the top and
God,
vanilla bean cake on the bottom. And those are Nilla wafers crushed to make the sand for the ocean theme.
I love
And
it.
he also sent me pictures of his wedding day.
Yeah.
So the floral arrangement that's in with the cake is the same flowers that was in the bride's bouquet.
Wow, that is great. I love the
Yeah.
seahorses. That I got a
Yeah, and that's all fondant and hand painted. It takes me about 3 days to make those little
wow.
figurines.
That's really great. Living in Monterey and being in a fishing community, I always have a thing for boats, fish. I mean, anything nautical, whatever. Okay,
Yeah,
here we go.
this was
Colorful.
one. Yeah. So this was a local. She lives in Marina. It was her 50th birthday, and she and her family were huge Star Wars fans. And she sent me some inspiration photos, and so yeah, so that's what we did. She didn't want anything too big because we're working with the number of servings for the party size.
Yeah,
So she had wanted all these different elements included, but didn't necessarily have the size cake to fit all the design elements. So I said, not to worry, I'll just put it on a larger cake board and
yeah.
use the cake board as part of the canvas of the art.
Nice.
So
Beautiful.
that's that one. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else. We got one more here. And, being one of the golf capitals of the world here in Monterey Peninsula, here we go.
Yeah. I made this one actually a long time ago, maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah,
Um, that is the 7th hole at Pebble Beach.
beautiful.
So there's the little fence line, which is also fondant. That's all hand painted. The little, the tee box balls.
The tee box, yeah, I could see that. What about the
Yeah,
sand traps? Look at the sand traps. Those are
sand traps. Those are Nilla wafers. So
man,
yeah, everything is edible. That's another thing that I that I enjoy doing is that whatever is on the cake, minus the candles, obviously, um, but everything on the cake is edible.
wow, that's really
Sometimes I will use flowers, and I actually do get some feedback about some of the flowers that I use are not edible or could be toxic, and sometimes people are concerned about that.
yeah,
I work around that. It's all covered in floral tape, or there's parchment papers as a barrier between the flowers and the cake. So
yeah.
there's no toxic elements. Everything is edible and safe to eat.
Yeah, so once again, I mean, any occasion Sharon will do it. I could just picture, I know you've probably done it, the graduation with the cap with the tassel or something. Have you created that? Or I could picture you.
Yeah,
If you haven't,
I've done a couple of graduation caps. One was for my friend's son, 8th grade graduation. That was the blue one with the gold
really,
stars.
it's really
And
nice.
then more recently, I did a graduation of someone who had, I forgot what school it was, but I think it was up in Washington. And the colors were purple and gold. So that was Dr. Nagel. And they were coming, staying at a Airbnb in Pebble Beach. So did that graduation cake for them. for her.
That's really great. Sharon, I know you probably are busy baking today, so I want to just close up with. So, how do we? I want a cake, or somebody wants a cake or a dessert. What do they do? How do they get hold of you?
The best thing to do, you can visit my website to see some examples of photos. I do more than cakes too. I do treats, I do dessert tables.
Right,
Um, I do a lot of, as a custom baker, I do a lot of different things. So if there's anything, it doesn't necessarily have to be a 3D cake. It doesn't necessarily even have to be cake. I do a lot of pies. Like I said, that's the first thing I learned how to make. But you
right.
can visit my website and see some examples of things. I'm working on the website right now. So if there's something that you don't find that you're interested in, just shoot me an email. You can email me through my website, through the contact information. You can email me directly at sugarsciencebaker@gmail.com, or you can call me at 831-869-2862. You can also go to Yelp and Google. There's plenty of reviews. I've got plenty of 5-star reviews for you to review if you're unsure. And I'd love to hear from you. And if you have corporate events or office events, I'm actually working with a company right now coming down from San Francisco for their 10-year anniversary. So doing custom colors and corporate stuff too.
Yeah. Now let's just say Sharon gave you all this information, and then down the road you go, okay, what was that website? Get a hold of me, and I'll get a hold of Sharon.
Yeah.
So
And
somehow,
if you
some
just
we'll
Google
get.
sugar science, it comes right up.
Yeah. So, Sharon, I really appreciate you coming on, and I thank everybody for tuning in. And you want something special, get a hold of Sharon. And Sharon, I thank you for coming on. Not only you're a great baker, a nice person, but you're a true artist. So, thank you so much. So, Cousin Johnny and Sharon, we're out. Bye.
Bye.